Welcome to the Riot Podcast. This is our show. It's the Thursday, May 4th edition of this very show. The show that's here to serve you and all your needs.
What an intro. Very impressive.
Thank you.
So make sure you text and say hi to this very show that we hope you'll be impressed by texting 877-2RadioU and let us know if you're enjoying the podcast today.
Lots of good things.
Mm-hmm.
We finished talking about marijuana.
And
dogs eating
and
it.
dogs. They were just saying how there's a huge increase, and especially with edibles, as places have certain things more legal now than before. People are being more careless with them, and then I think it leads to a bigger discussion of other gross things your dogs have eaten. So
And
there it is.
let me tell you that a lot of people, if you're not in the world of marijuana, you think of just edibles and you're like, what was that, a brownie or something? But
Hudson can give you a
they
deep,
can
deep
put
breakdown.
marijuana in anything
A
these
peach
days.
ring, a Swedish fish,
'Cause wait,
a brownie, a cookie.
They can't even have, your dogs can't have brownies. So
Yeah, that
No,
makes
exactly.
true.
they're not
Exactly.
even supposed to have that. So
That's true.
You should be paying attention to make sure, that you're not just throwing out stuff that your dogs or other people's dogs could get killed by.
Or children.
Yeah.
And there's many things. I talked about how one of the big ones for me, not even just weed, was gum. It was a terrible thing. And so for me, then I got into the question of what are you allowed to throw outside?
Anything that's biodegradable.
My thing
right?
is, what about this? Have you ever thrown the dum-dum stick?
No.
Right out.
You haven't done that?
No, outside?
I love
Why
doing
not?
that.
It'll just disintegrate.
out the window.
The stick?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Uh-huh.
guess I never caught that.
As long
it's
as it's the paper one,
But
not
yet again,
the plastic one.
how bad would you? Because you think about it too. We say it's paper, but how bad would you feel to take a sheet of paper and just throw it out the window, or crumple it up, throw it out the window?
And you know
That
what?
feels like littering.
I found that stuff in my yard too, and it takes a while.
For it to
yeah.
disintegrate.
Or the sometimes boxes that soda or
cardboard?
beer boxes come in. Yeah, and that that'll blow out of people's recycling, and then it doesn't just go away.
See, I think
No.
it's more about how you look, though, because I'll throw out an apple core because
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
obviously that's fine.
That's a
but-
fun one to do.
Obviously.
But I have to wait because it doesn't mean that the car behind me is obviously I see that she's throwing an apple out.
Yes.
That's fine. It just looks like you're littering.
It does.
So you have to be aware, but also it has to be the right moment.
I've got a real life example. What about a sandwich wrapped in the sandwich paper?
No, 'cause
I'm
of
not
this-
throwing the sandwich paper.
I mean, the poor
No.
animal's going to eat the sandwich paper.
I'm gonna throw
Is that bad?
I'll throw the sandwich. I'm not throwing the sandwich paper.
It's not like Jimmy John's where it's all waxy and got stuff printed on it. It's just a piece. It's just a thick.
Is it
I
plastic?
don't litter paper though.
Yeah.
I don't throw paper
You mean you
out.
don't throw the paper to the tree?
Yeah, I don't throw the paper out. I feel like that's wrong. But a dum-dum stick doesn't feel like paper to me.
Do you see the inconsistency?
It does,
Yeah.
but it also, this is the other thing too, a dum-dum stick, it's real tiny.
Yeah.
And so I can just throw that in the yard, you'll never even see it. A wad of paper, that feels wrong. It does, I
But
know
the
it might,
sandwich part you're okay with though?
Oh, it's awesome. Any kind of food,
Yeah.
for sure you can
But-
throw
Good to
outside.
go.
All right, so say you're throwing that, say you're on a walk and you're like, I cannot eat the other half of this sandwich.
Yeah.
And so you unwrap it and you throw it in the yard,
Yeah.
it's someone else's yard.
Ooh.
That just brings weird animals to
True.
their yard.
Yeah, it'd be exciting for them.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And how would you feel if you walked out your front door and there was just a ham sandwich
Yeah.
laying in your front yard? I would be like, what is that?
You would feel
I
like
look
someone was trying to tell you a message,
It's
like
crazy
they didn't
too.
like you.
But also, if you did that at a park, I feel like that would the park ranger might come at you.
Yeah, because
And be like, "What are you doing,
Again,
fella?"
it's what you look like doing it, and you're gonna look weird. So
Yeah, you
Even
look
though
ridiculous.
the chicken sandwich, it'll make some animal very happy.
then throw it in
I
the
don't want
woods
that in my
part.
yard. Yeah, I don't want it in my. If that was in my front yard, I'd be like, what in the world? I'm not gonna touch it either. I'm gonna leave it there.
Because again, if I throw an apple, I don't just throw it in someone's grass. I wait till the woods part come
Or the
by.
I try to go
highway.
ditch.
Yeah, you throw it out that way.
I'll throw ditch as
The
well.
median.
the median.
The median. Have you ever thrown something out the window and it didn't go how you
goes
thought
on
it
the
was
side of
going
your
to?
car.
Hit the side of your car, maybe the car behind you lets out a honk.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I've thrown stuff, but I'll tell you what I have done.
You try.
Spit out. the
Yeah,
window.
you have. Did it come back at you? Did you make it out of the car?
No, it makes it out of the car, but it gets all over the back windows.
Oh yeah.
And it
You can
dries
see.
on there.
Yep.
Yep.
I know
It's
exactly what you're talking about.
It's not good.
But what are you
should-
supposed to do if you have like that phlegm thing? Like
You
I've
talking about-
had
you
that
talking about
pretty
a loogie?
recently.
You're gonna
Yeah.
have to
You
pull
can't-
pull over, or just find the wrapper from your sandwich that you threw. Spit into
If I
that.
just held on to that, it'd be fine.
Well, okay, there's other stuff in the podcast too, but I feel like we will let you be surprised by the other stuff in this. But
Isaiah writes a podcast description. You can read
that.
right?
As always, though, join us at Radio U Riot on our Facebook or our YouTube channel, and make sure you're subscribed and you have notifications going. Tomorrow in the podcast, we'll check out the new Mountain Dew flavor, the summer. Is it Breeze or
Summer
Freeze?
freeze.
Summer
Summer freeze is Seals and
Freeze.
Croft.
Doesn't Breeze make more sense? That's fine.
does.
We'll
That's
just
something
find
different.
out.
It's a song.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Summer breeze.
Here we
Makes
go.
me feel
We talked about
fine.
this too.
Hey,
Right
could you
now.
just sing that one line over and over
Just
again
over
to
and
me?
over.
That song doesn't really work with that. So
Have a great day.
See you guys.
catch you next time.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the worst of the riot.
A chat GPT. What can't it do? Seriously, what can it do?
Well, we
I'd
find
like
out
to know.
every week. It's always in the news somehow.
Can't make me a sandwich.
Give it
Not
time.
yet. One
it can
day.
tell you how to make one.
It could, yes.
Yes.
A good
You-
sandwich, probably.
Then you need a robot to actually run the program.
It could probably give you 10 creative ideas for an old new sandwich.
That's true.
that has never been thought of before. But I'll tell you one new thing that ChatGPT can do for you, and that is find you a home.
Ooh, it can help.
Yeah.
A lot of people are trying. Just depends on which area you're in.
If you're
Still
ready
tough.
to buy a house or you just want some assistance browsing, Zillow now has a new ChatGPT plugin that they're rolling out to select users only at this time, but they're going to continue to broaden that access more and more until eventually probably available to everyone. But you, if you have this enabled, will be able to tell ChatGPT basically what are your parameters for something you're looking for, and then it will service you a whole bunch of Zillow listings that might be something that might be a good fit for you.
Now, originally, when I heard this, I thought you mean like the Zillow search bar.
I was going to say, you mean like the filters you
Yeah.
can use on any websites?
But they mean more. So it would just be more tailored, custom, a little bit better than just even the search algorithm thing can do.
It's true. I find that on many websites that the filters they're still limited.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to be more specific or more broad. So that's something that can be helpful. I don't know if I would use this though. I just kind of find it fun to just scroll through. I'm not looking for anything particular. I just like looking,
You
know?
like looking at houses?
Yeah. Do you think this, Nikki, that Zillow is like Tinder for married people?
Absolutely.
You scroll through, you're like, nope,
Isaiah,
definitely not that one.
Let me tell you. So, Isaiah, what happens is even if you're not looking to move into a house,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's fun to look at houses online. And I know that sounds stupid, but it actually is,
It's true.
especially houses you can't afford. Because
Yep.
then you can kind of like dream.
Oh, that's way
one
out of my
day.
league.
You guys
say.
sound like that sounds like cheating. This just sounds like cheating.
Yes,
yes,
that's what it is.
I've got 30 years left to pay off my house, but it's really fun to look at these nice
Yeah,
new
I'm going
cute
through
houses.
It is.
a little bit of midlife crisis. This house doesn't really get me right now. Like we just kind of grown apart.
There's
so.
also a whole world of like strange, weird houses. And so people love, if you're into that sort of stuff, to look them up and just see like, oh my gosh.
Like
what
your
is-
Yeah.
little kink. Yeah, I
yeah,
got
like
it.
what's the person doing? So I like to look at houses.
Sometimes you see a house that only has one picture. You're like, red flag. No chance on that one.
But there's a lot of mystery there too. You're like, what
That's
could it be?
right.
It's the forbidden house.
Yeah, that's Zillow for you.
So if you want a more tailored or in-depth look in search feature, you have to have the ChatGPT plugin for Zillow, and it's not for everybody. So I don't know what they're doing to pick who gets to do this.
And now after this, I think there might be a Chat GPT plugin coming for Bumble.
for Bumble,
Yeah. Help you find a new date.
your search
you put in your
features-
parameters.
Yeah, we're never
Got to be
enough.
super hot, not too tall, and also live within 30 miles of me.
This is Radio U's worst of the riot.
What's your opinion on the town of Northampton, Massachusetts?
Mm.
What's
Not
your
a fan.
Well, I mean, it's just normally it's not a hot spot, is it? We don't spring break there.
No, I don't think so. No, that was a sentence that I didn't complete. What is your opinion of the city of Northampton, Massachusetts, deciding to devote $20,000 of their budget to the Northampton Vibrance Committee, who will be using it to create 4 custom manhole covers.
Mm-hmm.
And those custom manhole covers will feature the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that's kind of like in promotion with the movie.
No,
No, just on their own?
they're just doing it.
Because you could have probably
It's
got
trying
the
to make-
movie to pay for this sort of promotion.
That might have. Do you think that would really be worth $20,000 to the movie
For
studio?
their
though?
marketing? 'Cause
Yeah.
It's that animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie come out later this summer.
That's just a
so.
coincidence. Who would look at the manhole cover and go, "Oh yeah, I need to go see the movie."
So this is in Northampton, Massachusetts.
And the actual reason that they decided to do this is that Northampton, Massachusetts is the original home to something called Mirage Studios. Mirage Studios created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which you might not know this, started off as a comic book.
Oh,
at
so
first.
well, then that makes more sense.
It makes some sense, doesn't it? And as I understand it, the comic book was decidedly not for children, even though Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles evolved a lot over the years and now clearly most of the time is. But they're trying to just celebrate that they were the home, the birthplace of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And so they're doing it with manhole covers.
So more people are probably upset that the grant is part of the $4 million that the city got from the rescue plan, the COVID pandemic stimulus package. Nothing says rescue like a
manhole cover.
A manhole cover.
3 years after the fact.
3 years after
Yeah.
all that. So a few are just, a little heads up on like, why is that what we're doing? Does the city not need anything else? But they're also trying to bring probably people in for, this is advertising to come to the
Yeah.
town.
It does make sense, yeah. As I've looked at moving different places, that has been one thing I've considered widely is manhole covers. I think their first mistake was establishing a vibrance committee in the city because that's just a waste of time. Besides the point,
Well,
but
What do you want them to have a dullness committee?
I don't think you need that committee whatsoever. I don't think. And number two, I think if the vibrance committee thinks that this right here is a good way to vibe up the city, I think we need some new members on the vibrance committee because I don't think these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle manhole covers are going to be what's going to be bringing in some
Now,
new young people.
You could do it a different way because I saw, and I don't like Pokemon, but like in Japan,
Yeah.
they did manhole covers throughout different towns in Japan.
Yeah.
And you would go and you'd have a stamp book. And then you would go to the town that had the character. You'd get the stamp and you do this whole thing. Now, I could be talked into it if there was a book that came with
If
it.
they gave me stamps,
I could do it.
they need to incorporate some stamps into this, and Nikki is in.
I'm in for like those silly little things that go with it. But if it's only 4 manhole covers and it's the turtles,
That's not nearly enough
I'm
stamps.
not doing it.
It'll only take me like 5 minutes.
Exactly.
It's not
She's
like a
gonna get-
whole-
It's
a
not
whole
an
day
adventure.
activity.
Yeah.
I don't know if we like the same things.
I'm not
No,
sure.
I love stamp books of manhole covers.
It would be
I
sick.
like stamps, but it made it more fun. I was like, that's so cool. All right, never mind. So this is in Massachusetts. If you want to go see them, you can.
It's going to be a big draw. It
A
definitely
huge.
is.
If they incorporate the stamps, I think they're gonna get stolen. Is what I think is gonna happen. I think someone's gonna
you're
pull them out
probably
of the
right.
ground. They're gonna steal them as a way to combat how
Actually,
angry they are.
I
$20,000
agree.
well spent.
They probably will be stolen.
Hudson, Nikki,
The Riot.
on Radio U.
Looking for a job is hard.
It is.
Yeah, sometimes it was fun. It is kind of fun, just the possibilities. But then when none of them wind up working out and you get stuck at Radio U with Nikki and Isaiah.
That's all you managed to get.
Yeah, but it definitely is hard, especially if you really need a job. It can be very disheartening. And then when this happens, it makes it even worse. I've got a woman here. I don't know if you've seen this. A woman on TikTok who was applying for a job as a music touring assistant with a creative artist agency.
Like a groupie.
The creative artist agency, one of the
the
biggest
bigger
talent
ones? Yeah.
agencies in the United States. And not only did she not get the job, she found out that she was not getting the job 20 minutes after applying.
Well, don't you feel like it's better you just know that you're moving on to the next one and that's not going to work out?
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, like I'd rather compare to other places that string you along for too long.
I guess if you think of it as a relationship, if like you asked somebody out and 20 minutes later,
Yeah.
you knew that they were never going to go out with
Because
you.
if you were too attached within 20 minutes, then you were overly anticipating that you were going to get this job.
So you think it's good?
I actually would prefer it compared to, again, being strung along and then not getting it. Because if you went weeks and weeks and maybe it was you and someone else in competition for the job.
Well, apparently she was not in competition.
Wasn't at all.
She was not even considered.
They knew right away. She's got no chance.
I actually don't think that's so bad to just know, hey, it's not going to work out. Then you can just focus on the next place you want to apply to.
That actually is a good point. I still, 20 minutes after you apply, feels kind of like a slap in the face. But at the same time, the vast majority of companies, you apply for something and they never get back to you.
Correct.
Yeah, true.
You can even contact them again, follow back up is what you're supposed to do if you really want the job, and they'll just ignore you.
You're just sad you didn't get the job. That's what you're sad about. But if you found out you got the job and it only took 20 minutes to find that out, that'd be great news. So.
That is, and they're staying on top of things there.
Sure.
So I don't know. Yeah, she's sharing this as kind of some sob story and.
Boo-hoo.
Well, maybe. I haven't actually heard her response to it. So.
She said she feels like they already had somebody picked out for the job, but felt they had to post the job anyway, probably some rule with the company.
Sure.
And she responded to that by saying, I hate that.
So
that does suck.
She emailed her application around 11 a.m. She got her rejection at 11:20 the same day. They said, we appreciate your interest and the time you've invested in applying for the job. We are impressed with your background. We've chosen not to move forward with your candidacy at this time.
At least they said it nicely, professionally.
Yeah.
I think it's better to know right away.
You think so too?
And I think it happens all the time. You know how many times I've approached a girl and right to my face she says I'm not interested? You know what? I walk away and I'm like, at least I have my answer. She's out of the running.
So I think you move on faster.
Exactly.
Compared to be stringing along. You're right. This is just like a relationship.
Yeah. I actually, you know what? I think you guys have convinced me. I think it doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah.
This is preferable to the alternatives.
Doesn't mean you're right for every particular job. So if they're not want to take you, and you have to move on to find the right place for you.
Maybe this will teach her a valuable lesson.
And if it only takes 20 minutes, is actually better than never finding out at all.
That's right.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
It's no secret, right? Marijuana use is becoming more and more not just not frowned upon, but even legal in so many cases in so many states around the country, and notably in New York City. But that is leading to at least one notable problem, because people are able to more easily get and more freely use the marijuana. They're also leaving it out.
Oh, out at their place and stuff?
Yeah, they're like, I'm smoking a joint. Let me just flick it on the street type stuff. And so that's leading to curious dogs finding this marijuana, joints, edibles, the devil's lettuce, and they're getting high accidentally.
Oh, no.
Because they're finding it out in the park and
they're
stuff.
eating it?
Yeah.
I see a lot on TikTok. People, and I don't think it's funny, but they'll do a TikTok if their dog gets into edibles and show them all out and stuff.
Yeah.
And you just feel like, poor dog, he doesn't know what's going on. Don't leave that stuff out.
It's not funny, but it kind of is, because they're always okay, right? It's not. I mean, they'd have to eat a lot to really be in big trouble. It's just that they're confused.
You usually have to still take them to the vet, and we know how much that can be.
Yeah,
so it's still not good.
That's the sad part.
Especially if it's not your stuff, and so you really had nothing to do with it, but your dog got into it.
When you're just walking your dog, the worst is when people just flick things outside. Like if you're gonna smoke your marijuana or whatever you want to do, that's fine. Do your thing, but you need to make sure you're not flicking in places where other people could be around. That's why earlier on when Jim was a puppy, my dog, he would always pick up things that were on the ground. He still does that. Not a puppy anymore. But the big thing for me was I would find cigarette butts in his mouth, or the worst one ever when he's a puppy was gum.
Oh,
he would flick gum.
That makes sense.
And he's a hound dog, so he'd immediately find it with his nose. And then you know how hard it is to get gum out of a puppy's mouth with a razor sharp teeth.
Oh, it is someone else's gum too.
It's somebody else's gum. My dog's chewing on it. I'm trying to pull it out of my dog's mouth. Let alone if it was a little bit of weed in there. I'm trying to pull the weed out of his mouth. Oh, I can just imagine.
The sad part is that's not even near the grossest thing that's probably been in his mouth.
Just pull poop out of his mouth.
I knew you were gonna say say it. I knew that. Can we just clean up everything, please?
I know. Stop throwing things on the ground.
You know what we need?
that my dog's gonna eat.
More ashtrays.
No, more anything. Just put in the trash.
Yeah.
That's all you
But what
gotta
if it
do.
starts a fire?
I think it's contained. It's okay. It's
That's just
all right.
a dumpster fire. It's
Yeah,
okay.
just a
in that
small
case.
dumpster fire, which isn't it
Yeah.
always, anyways.
Yeah, this is, you can't be careless with it's still drugs, even if they're legal now. You can't just be throwing them out everywhere because it's not, I don't know if it's legal for dogs, but it's not advised. I don't think.
It's legal.
It's legal for dogs?
I don't know if it's
No,
legal
it's
for dogs to be smoking the dope. What do you mean?
What are you going
What?
to arrest the dog?
Hey, you can't take my dog.
But you'd be arrested as the owner
Oh,
of
because it would
doing
be
something
yeah.
against the dog
Well,
that they can't
The
do.
dog could just say I was holding it for a friend.
Oh,
so.
gosh. All
And it
right.
would be accurate.
I think I'm more disgusted also about the gum. So let's not leave the gum out as well, because
The
that
gum
would be
was terrible.
so gross to have to get out of
Hated
their
it.
mouth.
Wasn't that a great Riot clip? While you're here, you should watch more of our videos and subscribe so you don't miss what we do next.